Once upon a time, a rooster looked at his hen and said, "Hey, the nuts are ripe. Let's go to the hill and eat our fill before that pesky squirrel gets them all." The hen thought this was a brilliant idea. "Yes," she chirped, "let's go have some fun together." So off they went to the nut hill. The sun was shining, and they stayed all day, feasting until evening. Now, I do want to know if it was because they'd eaten so much they were too plump to walk, or if they'd just gotten a little bit proud, but they decided they were far too fancy to go home on foot. The rooster, ever the handyman, got to work and built a tiny carriage out of nutshells. When it was finished, the little hen hopped right in, settled down, and said to the rooster, "All right, now you can just harness yourself to it and pull me home." The rooster was flabbergasted. "I like that," he crowed sarcastically. "I would rather walk home than pull you in a carriage." "No, that was not our deal. I'll be the coachman, I'll sit on the box and hold the reins, but I absolutely will not pull it myself." As they were bickering back and forth, a duck waddled over, quacking furiously. "You thieving rascals! Who told you that you could come to my nut hill? Oh, you'll be sorry for this." And with her beak wide open, she charged straight at the rooster. But the rooster was no coward. He met her charge head on, jabbing and kicking with his sharp spurs. He fought so fiercely that the duck soon begged for mercy. As punishment for her rudeness, she had to agree to be harnessed to the nutshell carriage. So, the rooster hopped onto the driver's box, ready to be the coachman. The hen was snug in her seat, and the duck was strapped in front. "Giddy up, duck," the rooster shouted. "Go as fast as you can," and they galloped away. After they had traveled for a while, they came across two very small pedestrians on the road, a pin and a needle. "Stop, stop," they cried out. They explained that it would soon be pitch dark, and they wouldn't be able to see a single step. The road was terribly muddy, and they were worried they'd get stuck. They asked if they could please have a ride. You see, they'd been at the Taylor S pub down by the gate and had lingered a little too long over their beer. Since the pin and the needle were very thin and didn't take up much space, the rooster agreed to let them in. But they had to make a solemn promise to him and his little hen. They must not, under any circumstances, step on their feet. So, the pin and the needle carefully climbed aboard, and the journey continued. Late that evening, their strange little group arrived at an inn. They didn't want to travel any further in the dark, especially since the duck was getting tired. Her legs were wobbly, and she kept stumbling from one side of the road to the other. So they decided to stop for the night. At first, the innkeeper wasn't too keen on letting them in. He made all sorts of objections. His inn was already full, he said, and besides, he didn't think they looked like very distinguished guests. But the rooster and hen were very charming. They spoke pleasantly and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. They told him he could have the egg that the hen had laid on the journey, and he could also keep the duck, who, they promised, laid a fresh egg every single day. At this, the innkeeper finally gave in and said they could stay the night. Once inside, they ordered a grand meal and had a wonderful time. They feasted and made merry, living it up like kings and queens. The next morning, long before sunrise, while everyone else in the inn was still fast asleep, the rooster woke up the hen. He found the egg they had promised the innkeeper, pecked it open, and the two of them shared it for breakfast. Then they took the empty eggshells and tossed them into the fireplace. Next, they tiptoed over to where the needle was still sleeping. They carefully picked it up and stuck it deep into the cushion of the innkeeper's favorite armchair. After that, they found the pin and stuck it right in the middle of the innkeeper's towel. With their mischief complete, they flew out the window and away over the fields, without another thought. The duck, who preferred sleeping outdoors, had spent the night in the inn's yard. She heard them flying away and was quite pleased to be free. She found a nearby stream and swam away, which was a much faster and more pleasant way to travel than being harnessed to a carriage. A couple of hours later, the innkeeper finally rolled out of bed. He went to the wash basin for his morning wash and reached for his towel to dry his face. As he wiped, the pin scraped across his skin, leaving a long red scratch from one ear to the other. Annoyed, he went into the kitchen to light his morning pipe. But when he bent down to the hearth to get a hot coal, the sharp pieces of eggshell flew up and right into his eyes. "Everything is attacking my head this morning," he grumbled. Angry and sore, he stomped over to his grandfather's armchair to sit down and sulk. But he jumped up again in an instant, yelping, "Woe is me!" The needle had pricked him, and it was far worse than the pin, and not in his head this time. Now the innkeeper was absolutely furious. His mind immediately went to the strange group of guests who had arrived so late the night before. He went looking for them, but, of course, they were long gone. Standing there, sore and bewildered, the innkeeper made a solemn vow. He swore he would never again let a pack of ragamuffins into his house. They eat and drink a fortune, pay for nothing, and, as a thank you, they play mischievous, painful tricks on you. And so ends the tale of the Pack of Ragamuffins, a good lesson for any innkeeper who might be tempted by the promise of a daily egg. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more classic fairy tales.